Hey y'all, it's me, Kaylin with Case Crochet Haven. Today's August the 18th, 2022, and I didn't get me any more tea. I am a few minutes late because, as you can hear, Milo is eating. He wouldn't leave me alone. He does not like the cat food that we got this time, so all he does is meow. And there's food in his bowl and everything, so he does not need to meow. My hair's just doing whatever it wants to. I've already fixed it like 3 times already. I gotta get me some more tea. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Nobody's here anyways. I'm gonna look for myself. Turn the volume all the way down so I don't hear double. And there we go. I found myself. I have been blog hopping this past week. Gotten a lot of good free patterns. The only thing is you got to find them. You got to look for them. You can't just go and click where it says get the pattern here. You got to look for it on that page too. So I made a Whip Wednesday video, or what you're working on Wednesday. What's the Whip Wednesday? I don't know what people call it. Everybody calls it something different. So I made one. I recorded it on Tuesday because my sister told me that my brother had a phone appointment today at 8:30, but while he was here yesterday, they called. But my phone didn't ring. We were all sitting here. Phone didn't ring. And anyways, they left a voicemail. I called them. Well, I called my sister. She got him to call them. And then, anyways, he had the phone appointment yesterday. And somehow when they were telling him that what day it was all confused. So anyways, point of that story is I thought I was not going to go live today, so I recorded a whole bunch of videos Tuesday, and if I put the videos out, they won't make sense because I'm live. So yeah. So let me see. 1 2 3 4 5 84. Hello, Liz Crochet and More. How are you? New here too. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining. I'm sorry if you hear the cat crunching. I was telling the story when I came live. The reason I was just a few minutes late because I tried to go live at 8 o'clock, but the cat over here munching on his food, he doesn't like it. The only reason why he's eating it now is because I put some liquid from the meat that was left in the pack of little chunks of ham. So he got that water on it, and now he's eating his food because it tastes like that. I am good, and yourself? I'm good. I am good. I am going to work on. I was setting them all up because I made a mess because I just threw something on the table instead of setting it here. So I made a mess of what I have. I was straightening it up. I'm going to be working on my squares for the temperature blanket on the month of May because I am still behind. So that is what I'm working on. Happy to hear. What are you working on, Liz? I'm slowly but surely catching up on these temperature squares because last week I was sewing together the month of April and I finished it. I'm not sure if I completely finished it on the live, but I finished it. So I'm already on May and I have almost a whole week done on May. I actually have not worked on this since the weekend. I'm not sure. I'm crocheting a Halloween mosaic pumpkin. Oh, that's going to be so cute. Halloween is my favorite holiday. And I know some people don't consider it a holiday, but it is a holiday in my book and it's my favorite. And then my second favorite holiday is Christmas because I like seeing the Christmas lights. Is that your pattern? You love Halloween, yes. Is that your pattern or is it someone else's pattern? I was looking at patterns this morning, waiting for my blog hop patterns or pattern because I'm only doing one. I am creating it. Oh, that's awesome. I've only done one mosaic and I did it in the round on a hat. That's the only mosaic I've done because I don't like fringe and I don't like trying to close it up because I've seen the close up because people like, you can make the double border. I was like, no, I don't like the way that looks either. So if I do any more mosaics, it'll probably be on a hat. So, oh, I was going to say, where'd my scissors go? I found them. But mosaic is not hard. Somebody was like, yeah, you should try it. I said, I have already. I made a hat. I used Courtney at Fiberfox Studios pattern. She had a tutorial for it and it was a snowflake. And I was like, ooh, I like that. So I want to make a hat. Especially whenever I was listening and she said, you can do it in the round. I was like, what? Let's make a hat. So I was trying to add up how many rows I needed to do to make it to the number of stitches that she had, and I figured that part up, and I just made it in the round on a hat. I thought it was raining. It rained all night last night. And I know it was raining at 2 o'clock this morning because the cat was meowing at me, which he did not eat all of that cat food. So that means that not all of the juices from that ham went on the cat food for him to eat it. Yeah, I created a spring mosaic blanket. Yes, I do remember that. And there's thunder. So it probably is rain I'm hearing. I just can't see it. Yeah, the window's foggy. So I can't see it. And that's something else I normally do. I'm not with it today because of Milo. He woke me. Well, I went to bed late because I'm sorry if y'all saw my back. My back fat. My shirt would rolled up. Um, and y'all did because I see it on my phone. Yeah, there goes the rain. I hear it now. But it was raining at 2 o'clock this morning because I threw Milo out because he would not quit meowing at me. And I went to bed a little bit late because I had to go and get my niece's boyfriend from work, and then when I got there, he told me that it was going to be a little bit longer than normal because they had to do a super clean on the store once they were closed. So I tried to lay my head back and go to sleep, and it didn't work. And so, anywho, I went to bed a little bit late last night and then got woke up at 2 o'clock this morning. And then when the alarm went off, I didn't want to get up, but I did get up. I had to make myself get up, but yeah. Hi from Nova Scotia. Oh, is that Muses Crow Knit Design? Is that how you say that? What are you making? I am making the squares for my texture blanket. And I have 6 days done so far for May. I am behind. So I'm trying to catch up. Yes, you said it perfectly. Thank you. Wanda. Oh, okay. I saw the designs and stopped at that. I didn't even see it says Wanda after it. Well, welcome in, Wanda. But that is what I'm working on. I'm working on the squares. I'm working on catching up. I had a pressing project to do, which I worked on those on my lives. I love the colors. Yes, the my favorite of them is the burnt orange, and of course green, because green is my favorite color. And you can't can you even really tell what colors these are? I'm trying to look on my phone to see. Yeah, they're dark on my phone. But I have it's called what is this called? I wrote them down. Hold on, so that I won't forget. Okay, the orange is burnt pumpkin. Yellow is yellow. Forest green is that dark green in the middle. And then I'm also using a lighter color green called jelly bean, which looks this color because I have some of those made up for the centers. I'm a little late, but here. Hey Heather, I'm sorry about last night. And when I got up this morning, my phone told me I was roaming, so I think it has to do with my phone company. But last night I was trying to listen, and every like half a second you were buffering, and I know it wasn't your side because you were fine whenever I was here on Wi-Fi before I left, and then when I started driving, it just started buffering, and then I couldn't listen. But I'm gonna go back whenever it comes back up on replay. I'm gonna go back and listen to it. But that is what I'm working on at the moment. I have well, one, two, three. I'm back down to 3 whips, which I'm glad for. I had a did I start something else? No, no. I had did a shawl for my ex coworker. She lost her daughter on August the 2nd. So I made her a shawl. And then I also made her a sun hat. But it wasn't a big sun hat. It's okay, girl. I understand all phones are acting crazy. Verizon ain't been right in a while. See, I'm not on Verizon. I'm on Metro. Metro by T-Mobile. And the thing is about this is I get a lot of T-Mobile stuff saying to switch to T-Mobile. I'm already somewhat on T-Mobile. Why are you trying to get me to switch to T-Mobile? What's the difference? But I do know that the town that I was in last night, there is a store there, but yet whenever I go into the town, I don't have service for a minute. And then when I do have service, it's jumpy. And then two, also another thing I noticed, I would pull down my drop screen and it wouldn't tell me Metro, it would tell me AT&T. And then this morning it was telling me that I was roaming. It said roaming active or something like that. I don't remember. All I know is I was like, okay, let's restart the phone again. And it didn't tell me roaming after that. I'm on Verizon and they ain't been right since they started all the. Yeah, I think it is the 5G stuff because that 5G, I've heard bad things about it. It causes cancer more than the rest and all this other stuff. I don't know. Hi, Daphne. How are you this morning? It sucks. It don't have service so whatsoever. Oh my goodness. I think what it is we're trying to get all this high tech stuff and it's not close to us enough. You know what I mean? Like I know you live in a bigger city than what I do, and I still think we're small compared to everybody else. I know the town over from us just started within the past couple of months doing DoorDash. I went is Pizza Hut's where I saw it at, and I had went over there and well, no, I was driving through and I had seen at Pizza Hut that they were hiring drivers, and I was like, "What? You used to DoorDash? Do not miss that at all." Oh, I've never done it. I know somebody who has, and they loved it because all they wanted to do was ride around anyway. So riding around for a reason and getting paid for it was the best job ever. But yeah, and then because way back in the day, they used to deliver in town at that Pizza Hut, but then they stopped. And then when I saw that, I was like, what they doing? They gonna deliver to us too? Of course, we live too far away, but I didn't never ask them. But whenever I had shortly after that, I had went through the drive-through there to because they have a drive-through pickup, and we had ordered pizzas, and I went through there and I saw the DoorDash thing on there. I was like, when did y'all start that? And they're like, about a month ago. I said, who all participates? Do you know? She started telling me that McDonald's and Burger King and all that. And I was like, what? Too much driving and all that traffic. Oh, I know. I don't like driving where you live at because I don't like the traffic. It scares me. And if y'all didn't know that Heather and I live about an hour apart, and I know the town that she lives in. Too many people can't drive. Exactly. Enterprise is starting to get like that too. I went through Enterprise twice now, and there's been an accident within a week apart. Rear endings, people rear ending other people because people aren't paying attention. What state are you in? I'm in Illinois. I am in Alabama. Heather is in this part, like about right here, and I'm like right here, close to the Florida line. I can go down my dirt road that way, take a right, then take a left, and then go for about 10 miles, and then I'm in Florida, where we have wrecks about every day. I know. I know y'all do, because it's crowded where you are. The only reason why, you know, it just, I don't like driving there because it's all the people. Like, I see all the people, and then my heart starts pounding, and I get sweaty hands and stuff like that. Whew, claustrophobic. So whenever I feel like I can't get out, it scares me. And seeing all them people scare me. I know what you mean. Mm. So I tell everybody who's in the car, if I have to drive somewhere that's busy, I'm like, if I say be quiet, that's it. No more talking. Don't ask me why. Don't nothing. Just be quiet. Because that means my heart is racing and I need to see my way out. I'm okay with other people driving, you know, but in the big cities, if somebody else is driving, but if I'm driving, have a great day, ladies. Glad I stopped in. Well, thank you for stopping in, Wanda, and you have a great day too. But most of the time, whenever somebody else is driving, I have my crochet. So that is why it doesn't bother me as much. And two, I've noticed that if I have GPS going, I'm not as, I guess, scared that I'm going to get lost or whatever. I don't know if it's the lost or if everybody being there or a combination of both, but it makes me panic. So I'd rather let somebody else drive and help them navigate. I can't ride with other people. I have to be in control of the wheel, not me. I hate driving. That's one of my things. I hate driving. I mean, I do drive. It's not like I can't drive, but if I could get in the car and somebody take me all the time, I would. Said a few years ago, I just want to be rich enough that I can hire somebody to drive for me. I understand that. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it's so crowded here between drivers and road construction. If I'm driving, I need everyone to stay quiet and no complaints at all. Exactly. Exactly. I remember. Oh, sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to hit my computer. I remember once I was driving in the big city that Heather lives in, and I call it a big city because we only have two red lights. Okay, that's how little my city is. They have where she lives at billions. And I was driving, and the passenger wanted to talk, and I said, "Shh." And then I got, "Why? Why can't I talk?" And I didn't say anything. And they were like, why do I have to be quiet? They just kept on, even though I wasn't saying anything. And then when the light turned green and everybody was moving and I was like alone on the road for a minute, I was like, I was panicking, and You talking wasn't helping. I said, so next time you need to be quiet when I say be quiet. Don't ask me questions. So now if I have to drive and I'm with different people or something, I'll be like, okay, if I say be quiet, just be quiet. Don't ask any questions. That means that I am panicking and y'all talking doesn't help. Okay, we'll be quiet. I was talking to my sister yesterday about, was it? No, it was Tuesday, about how I can't drive in bigger cities and enterprise is starting to get just as bad. And she said, well, you would not have made it in Houston. I said, no, I would have not. Or had I learned there, I might be better at driving around here. Who knows? But we left Texas whenever I was 4, so I don't remember any of that. I do not like taking the interstate much because it seems like people will almost run you over and you are already doing the speed limit. Oh, I know, and then some, exactly. I said when we moved here to Alabama when I was 4, every summer for the 4th and every Christmas we would go to Texas. We did that for 10 or 12 years, something like that. And so the interstate was something I was used to driving. Well, I wasn't driving, but riding on. But yeah, they will. They'll run you over if you're not going fast enough. I'm practicing my knitting. It's so tedious. Yes, that is why I don't knit. I know the knit stitch and I know the purl stitch and I can do them. Not very fast at it, but it just takes too long in my opinion. I do watch knitting podcasts though. I watch oh, what is her name? Hannah. Hannah, the Corner of Craft. And she was talking about how she sat for about, they watched a couple of movies, so like 5 hours or something of knitting, and she showed like she had that much done. And I was like, what? I think knitting is beautiful, and I, appreciate everything I see because it's all beautiful. People that show when they crochet and knit, I appreciate them showing and stuff because it's beautiful. But for me to sit there and do it, I can't. It takes too long. And they say you don't use as much yarn whenever you do that. So I was like, yes, because it takes you 20 years just to make something. I don't know. I guess I'm that type of like instant gratification kind of stuff. I don't know. I just know that knitting is very, very slow. And I don't even know where my knitting swatch is. But I was doing knit row, purl row, knit row, purl row. Yeah, I've done about 3 rows exactly since 7:30. Yeah. I don't know. I guess if I learned to knit first, you know, be different, but I didn't learn to knit first. I learned crochet, and I had known about knitting, like that it was a thing with yarn as well as crochet, because when I was taught how to crochet, I went for yarn and, you know, knitting needles were there and all that stuff. So I just know that I didn't know how to knit, so I didn't worry about the knit stuff. I went after crochet. And then the time that I bought this little kit from the Dollar General. It's the only time I ever saw that there. And it said learn to knit. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to learn to knit because it's yarn and it's beautiful. My sister thought they were separate yarn. There was separate yarn for crochet. That's funny. Gotta go get that crochet yarn. Don't get that knitting yarn. But in this kit, there was two little balls of yarn, two knitting needles, of course, and a piece of paper. And I want to say a pom pom. I could be wrong about pom pom. Only $10. I was like, yeah, I want to learn how to knit. So I get the knitting needles out. They were plasticky kind of top needles. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then I opened up the paper to read the direction that said cast on. So many stitches. And I said, cast on. I was like, what is a cast on? So I'm looking at this thing and it's telling you knit, purl, you know, knit two, purl two, things like that. And I was like, this is not a learn to knit, it's a learn to make a hat. And that's what it was. It was hat pattern. It was learning to knit a hat pattern on that paper. It was not learning to knit because it did not tell you how to cast on. It did not tell you how to do this or anything like that. So I told my mama that I was mad. I was just going to use the yarn for crochet. And she's like, why? I said, because I opened the paper and it tells me to cast on. I don't know what a cast on is. And she started laughing. She says, that's how you start it. And I was like, oh, so it's like a foundation chain. She's like, sort of. So she showed me how to cast on. I was like, you know how to knit too? She said, yeah, but it's been years. So she's like, I'm not even sure if I'm doing this cast on right. I said, oh, okay. So I went to YouTube because that was, how long ago was that? Maybe 2015, 2016, somewhere in there. And so I was like, you know what? YouTube teaches crochet. I'm pretty sure that somebody on YouTube teaches knitting. So I looked up knitting tutorials and I learned how to cast on and I learned the knit stitch and I learned the purl stitch. And about maybe a year ago, I started practicing the knitting again because I was like, I want to knit because stuff is pretty in knit, but I, I'm still not good at it. So I'm just going to leave the knitting to all those fabulous knitters out there. And I will say that I know how to knit, but I don't knit. I bought one of those learns to knit kits and it actually tells you how to do it all. But I guess I'm a visual learner because all them instructions was gibberish to me. I watched videos yesterday and started. Yeah, I'm more of a visual learner too. But see now the reason especially with when it comes to reading a crochet pattern versus watching someone's tutorial, I will say that I'd rather watch someone's tutorial, especially if it's a stitch I don't know or like a stitch combination that I don't know, because I am a visual learner. But I also used to say it was because that I was taught to knit not knit. I was taught to crochet by watching and her saying, my cousin, her saying, okay, do this, do this, now do this and this, and that's how you do that. She didn't show me a pattern. She didn't say, this means this, so that's what this right here is what you'll do with this right here. So when it came to reading a pattern, I thought the first time I ever read a pattern, I thought, oh, I can do this because I can do this. And then it was abbreviations. I was like, what is this? I don't understand it. And then I found the key and I was like, oh, okay. So they mean this and that, and. So I went by doing it, and then I got to a spot that I was so confused at, and it didn't look right. And so I was like, I don't think I'm reading this right. It just didn't feel right. So I put off trying to read patterns for a long time. I didn't start trying to read patterns until about 2 years ago, something like that. 2.5 years ago, maybe. I taught myself to knit and crochet. I'm a visual learner, and I trust it took a lot of and it took a lot. Yeah, it took a lot to learn. Yeah. Well, see, when I was taught, I was only taught the granny square. We didn't branch off into making, a chain and then do a single crochet back and then back and forth. So the first time I ever did that, apparently I was adding stitches at the end because it went this way. People talk about how theirs go into a triangle. Mine went out. Mine did not go in, mine went out. So I was increasing. But I wasn't taught um anything else except for the granny square. The rest of the stuff that I do now, learned either on my own by listening to someone say you need to make sure you don't put too many stitches here and things like that, and also from YouTube. Sandra, good morning. Oh, excuse me, y'all. I have heartburn. I always have heartburn. How are you this morning, Sandra? My niece, she crocheted for a little bit. She doesn't crochet anymore, but she told me, she said, I can show you how to, which whenever she was telling me about it, I didn't know about Tunisian, but she told me that she knew a way where you could hold the stitches on your hook to make something. And I was like, what? And then she never did show me. And then I was sitting there making a granny square. She said, you know that there's more to crochet than just granny squares. I said, I don't know how to do none of it. My first project was a continuous granny square that became a blanket that I gave to my daddy. Oh, that's awesome. My first blanket that I made for myself was a granny square blanket. Doing good, doing some sewing. So I'll be lurking. Oh, awesome. I need to practice sewing. I know how to sew too, but I don't sew. So last time I sewed up a hole for somebody. That's the last thing I sewed. And that was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. But the first thing I ever actually crocheted, I'm trying to think. I think it was I finished a granny square blanket. I think somebody had started a granny square blanket and I finished it and then I gave it to my niece. So she actually, if is still with her, she actually has my first crocheted item. Well, finished crocheted item. And then I made a whole bunch of granny squares. After that, I made my sister a granny square coaster. And then I made, I want to say my blanket, which I showed it on one of my podcasts. Um, I just wanted it. big. So, I mean, it's not big enough to cover really anything yet because I was 17 and they still make the yarn. It is it's Red Heart yarn. It's that Mexicana yarn, but I have it put up because I had it out on one of the chairs and one of the dog's nails broke one of the strings on it, so I do need to fix that, but I haven't done it yet. But I just put it up because I didn't want it to break anymore. That's the same for me when it comes to sewing. I can do the basics, but I haven't sewn enough to feel confident in it. Yes, to make all the different items. Exactly. When I was in home ec, I made an apron. She had it wasn't cardboard. It was like a thick poster board cut out. She showed us how to put it on our material. We had to cut it out, and then we had everybody reused it. And but we cut out the pattern because she already had it cut out and all. And then we had to sew it for a grade. And I sewed that. And of course, my mama being a seamstress. See, my mama knew how to sew. My mama knew how to knit and crochet, but the crochet and knitting wasn't her thing. Her thing was sewing. She liked to sew. So whenever I showed her my work that I got a good grade on, she was like, "Well, I would have done this and this." And I was like, "Well, I don't know anything about sewing. It's my first sewed item, mama." My first thing to crochet was doilies and hats. I sew all the time for myself and others. That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm gonna get me a sewing machine one day, and I'm gonna sit down and sew. I worked at a sewing factory for almost 6 years, but I didn't. Sorry, I didn't operate the, like a sewing machine. I operated a bar tacker. I bar tacked belt loops. That's what I did, and that is why I have factory hands, which I talked about them in either a video or last live. I can't remember because I said if I have to open up a plastic bag and it's one of them thick bands, yeah, it's not going to come open with me. I have to cut it. I had I had to have a cortisone shot in this wrist because I had Jaquarian's something. It's where the sheath of your tendon, it's similar to tendonitis, but the sheath of your tendon is what's swollen instead of the tendon itself. And I couldn't bend my wrist. Like bending my wrist down like that would hurt. And picking up the tea jug and picking up stuff heavy and it pulling on, my hand would just start to shake. My first actual project I made on the sewing machine was a few masks at the beginning of, oh, that's awesome. I wanted to learn to do that. My sister actually tried to, but her patience isn't as good as it used to be. Um, her friend that she worked with wanted a bandana, wanted her, she said, I'll buy the bandanas. You just, sew me some. That can be painful. I've had issues with that too. Yes, it was very painful. But after that shot, and the thing is I think it has to do. I have also a ganglion cyst there. It's not bad, but I feel it. It's right there. That didn't show up until after that, and I think that the cyst actually had something to do with that, but I'm not a doctor. So my mama had said all the swelling went down from that tendon, so therefore, well, the sheath that the tendon runs through, so therefore the cyst was able to come up. But the back to the thing, her friend had gotten some bandanas because she wanted bandana material, and because the bandana material was so flimsy, my sister was having trouble with it sewing because she's using an old sewing machine that probably needs a lot of oil and a lot of cleaning up underneath it. And oh God, my stomach. So she was frustrated with it, and she put it down for a few days, and then she went back to it and finished it as best she could, and then gave it to her, and then said that she wasn't going to make any more. But she's got some material because she used to make scrunchies. She used to make scrunchies and sell them. She hadn't done that in a long time. It's thundering again and raining again. And they just graded our dirt road, so it's probably going to be all nice and mushy today. Why am I trying to do a single crochet? Don't you hate it when your hook doesn't do what your brain is trying to tell you to do? I'm going to blame it on the hook. Heather, are you still here working on your knitting? I am. I just want to tell you happy birthday because I just remembered that tomorrow is your birthday. how was the how has what was the temp been where you are? I'm loving the cool fall like mornings here. It's not really been cool in the mornings. It's probably been in the upper 70s. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. But let's let me go to my temperature blanket calendar here that I have. Let's see, May, June. I'll tell you the last temperature, which was probably about almost a month ago. Almost a month ago. I need to catch up again. Yeah, we're still in the highs, 70s and 90s. I believe y'all's rain is coming our way. It probably is. It probably is. It was raining last night at 2 o'clock in the morning. I said last night at 2 o'clock in the morning. That made a whole lot of sense. It was raining at 2 o'clock this morning. I don't know how long it rained last night, but I do know that it was sprinkling when I came in. And then I got woke up by the cat at 2 o'clock, meowing for nothing. I just picked him up and put him outside because he had been jumping on me and was in my face and made my face itch a lot. And then he started that meowing on the floor, just meowing, meowing. I was like, okay, you're going outside. And it was raining then whenever I put him outside. I'm almost finished with February on my temperature blanket. That is awesome. I worked up a few because I want to try and find an easier way, a faster way to basically a faster way to catch up. So I was looking, and most of the days on May is in the 60s. So what I did was I counted the, see, there was eight. Yes. I counted the 350s and the 870s, and I've already made the middles. Which I said all this in the video that I didn't get to post because it wouldn't have made sense if I posted it. So, because that was my Whip Wednesday video. I want the temperature blanket to be my Whip Wednesday video until I'm caught up enough to say that I'm on track with my temperature blanket. And it wasn't because like I wasn't wanting to work on it or anything. I had a more pressing project that needed to be done. So I worked on that instead. And that was because I was being paid for that. So I'm making one where we just do it Wednesday. Oh, okay. And welcome in, Samantha. You're doing the one with Dina's Homespun Fun because her, Rose, and Zelda. Is it Zelda? Yes, that's what I thought. Yeah, I've been seeing their updates. Well, the pattern that I am doing is something that was found on Pinterest. And I was talking with Kaylina at My Own Utopia. I was talking with her, and I told her how I wanted to do a temperature blanket. And she said that she had done one last year, but she had a lot of, I guess, upsetting days last year, so she didn't finish. She didn't finish last year's. I mean, most of it's done. She just has to put a border on it, I think is what she said. And I was like, well, I don't want to do it, where you make rows because that many rows, I tried that. I actually could go get my first temperature blanket from like 2017 that I was going to make, and I only made 11 days. And I was going with the highs. And it looks like a scarf. I wanted it to fit my bed, so I chained a whole bunch of chains until I got from one side of the bed to the other, and it was a king size bed. And then I guess after those 11 days, I was like, if I do this every day, that's 365 rows, and I was doing a double crochet, and yeah, so it would have been even longer. So I was like, if I keep on doing this, I'm not gonna be able to fit it on my bed. So I was like, I'm not gonna do it because I don't want it to not fit on my bed. And then I saw somebody who had made two halves and sewed them together, and it made a full blanket, and it was the whole year. Half of the year on one side and half of the year on the other. I was like, that's a good idea. But I want highs and low temperatures. And I was like, well, if I do that, then it'll be a whole lot. And I was like, I think I'm just going to make one where January is its own month, February is its own month, and then sew it all together. And then Kaylina says, oh, I know what you're talking about. And she sends me a picture where you can see January, February, March across the top, and then you see the squares, and it's made to look like a calendar. And I said, that's not exactly what I was thinking about, but I love this idea. So she and I started the we were going to start it, and we were trying to think of a name, and then Cindy at Life and Yarn Tangled said she wanted to make a blanket and she liked the blanket, so we included her. Kaylina asked if it would be all right if she came along, and I was like, yeah, the more the merrier. I don't care. And she's like, okay, well, I just wanted to make sure. So we started doing a monthly podcast, and then we just kind of like fell out of it because we were all having issues. So we haven't done one in a while. It's been about 4 months since we did one. But that is how it's looking. So we're making squares that look like this. The lighting is so bad in here. Or it could be my screen. Yeah, it looks all right on my phone. And then it's going to look like, oh, let me see if I can find it real fast. I don't want to take too long. No, it's not there. Maybe in this one. Yes, there it is. This one was made in 2022, and I don't know who did it, but that is what it's going to look like. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. If it's blurry. That's what it's going to look like. My hand won't stay still either. So that's what we're doing. And I am on the month of May. Trying to catch up. That's cool. Yes. I thought so too. When she showed me that, I was like, yes, let's do it. That's what I want to do. But I was thinking about also too making it the way that I had wanted to do it as well. But I'm not totally for sure if I want to do that or not. May wait till next year and do it, or do something like Heather's doing. Heather is doing a temperature blanket from the year she was born. I might do that. Do one from the year I was born and make it the way I wanted it to be. If I had the yarn that I needed for all of it, I would make one for each of my family members and give it to them for Christmas. Make one from the year they were born. But I don't have the yarn for that. It's starting to really pour out there now. What's the weather like where y'all are? Is it raining? I think it's starting to rain where Heather's at because she just told me that I think y'all's rain is coming our way. I may go outside and sit and listen to the rain and crochet outside. If it ain't too muggy out there and humid. Because we got a tin roof over the back deck now. And I like listening to rain on the tin roof. Sunny in Massachusetts with a light breeze. Oh, I want to go to Massachusetts. I will one day. Nothing here. I want to go to Salem. That's where I want to go. The furthest north I've ever been is in Ohio. And that was years and years and years ago. That place is cool, yeah. There's a lot of places I want to see. just just to see, you know. just to travel. I don't like driving, but I like riding in the car. I think it's because we used to do it twice a year going to Texas. I miss that, seeing different sceneries, even though it was the same scenery we got to see every time we went to Texas, but it was different from everyday scenery, you know. I want to go. Oh, yes, Yellowstone Park. Yes. I want to go see the falls, Niagara Falls. It was nice chatting with you. I have to make a phone call, but I hope to chat with you again soon. Yes. Have a good day, Daphne. Thank you for coming in. I'm about to probably go anyways, too, because I usually stay on for about an hour. I was going to go to the grocery store, but I think I'm going to wait since it's raining because I don't like the feeling of being in wet clothes. So I'm not going to do that. Being in wet clothes just feels gross to me. Alrighty. I guess I want to go. So thank y'all for coming. I'll let y'all say bye to each other. And I will see y'all again live next week, next Thursday, unless something comes up, and then I'll make a video if it does. And I will re record my Whip Wednesday video. Bye, y'all. See you later, girl. Yeah. Bye. Y'all have a good day. Yeah, have a great day. I'll re record my, well, I'll probably just wait until next Wednesday and then explain it in my Whip Wednesday video. Or I can just go ahead and record it now. Record that. I don't know. What I need to do is figure out a schedule of when to make videos and hopefully everything pan out the way it needs to pan out. But I was going to set them all up like I've been doing, but I'm glad I didn't because y'all would be confused on why I'm live whenever I said I'm not going to be live. So, anyways, I will see y'all in my next video and thank y'all for coming and y'all have a good day. Bye, y'all.